Hello, I am back. Here is going to be a tutorial on how to fix or repair a Grover emergency horn. Now, here I have a new diaphragm, a new gasket, just dropped it, a new gasket, and a new spring. Now I'm going to be showing you what is wrong with this horn versus this one. Now this one actually functions, but however it is not too loud. But I think that diaphragm is all worn, so I'm going to be replacing everything while I'm at it. And here I'm going to be doing a loudness scale by testing a regular old truck horn. Still made by the same company, Grover. This one has Grover right there. Now I'm going to be taking it apart. Well, first I'm going to be sounding it off first. I'm going to be sounding both horns off first before I disassemble it. Obviously you gotta have hearing protection. And here I have around just under 100 pounds. So let's sound them both off. Alright. Here is the truck horn. Going first. Alright, and here is the fire truck horn before I disassemble it. Alright, so there are both horns, and now I will be disassembling both of them. I'm doing a little trick about how you speed things up while disassembling. So, here we go. Alright, so I've taken all of the screws off. Here is all of the screws. Right there. Alright, so now I'm going to be... Okay, so there's the spring. The diaphragm's right there. Put that aside. Just put that right there. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so... here's the diaphragm. Yeah, I think it's in need of replacement. So, put that aside. Here is the insides. Now, how to take this off? It just simply screws off. Simply screw it off. There is a lot of threads, so it may take a while. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so there it is. Put that right there. And this just simply just comes right off like that. There we go. Alright, so here is your Grover horn. There is the nozzle. A lot of threads. Looks like it's got oil or something on them. So here's what it looks like. Alright, so there is the old gasket. Oh wow. So I'm gonna have to. Here's the gasket right here. It just kind of like broke off, so this thing's in big need of replacement. So just try and take the remaining part of the gasket out. I know I should not be using my method, but I kind of have to. But if you have a gasket this old, I don't know what else you would do. This thing's kind of like glued in. But here's what the insides look like. There is the air inlet right there, and then this right here distributes the air in it evenly. Flip it over. There is 6 holes on there, and this sits on like that, and that distributes the air evenly all around. There's a little lip right in here. Your gasket sits on the outer lip right here, and then all the air goes around like that, and then the air distributes or it gets distributed through these holes evenly, and that's what makes it the horn sound. Alright, so I believe I got most of the gasket off. Just missed a few spots, so I'm gonna just have to clean that up. It's almost done. Yeah, this thing came off of a 1979 firetruck, so this thing may be a lot older than I think. Alright, so now I got most of it cleaned off. Let's put the new gasket right here in, like that. Oop. Yeah, it can be a little pain putting your gasket in. And then after you, I'll probably put it on first. Put your valve or your air inlet on first. Alright, I want to try and get it like probably like around where you found it before. Just on this case I found it, well, it's like about one thread in. I don't know if you can see it correctly. If you have this thing focus. Come on, focus there, baby. There it goes, slowly but surely. Focus. There it goes. Alright, you can see that there's one thread in there. If I turn it once around more, you see that there's no threads. So if I turn it slowly, that is right around where my horn was at. Now let's put the gasket on. So I just put it on. Make sure it's all even all the way around. Alright, so now make sure that that's all clean. Yeah, alright, there we go. Now let's put this on. Now this threads on as the air inlet normally does. Let's screw this on all of the way. Alright, now here's where it gets tricky. And here is how to, if you don't have this on right, your horn will not work and it will leak all around the gasket. Because if you just turn it like this, as you can see, the whole thing the air inlet and the power chamber turns by itself, and you only want this turning so you can tighten this. So pretty much you just hold the both in and like that. And if you did it correctly, that should be around flush. If you look on the side, that should be flush. However, I may. So let's put that on. And as you can see, I have mine a little too far in, so I might have to unscrew it out a bit. Let's turn the whole horn like right around there. Alright, so now we get the diaphragm right here. Put that on. Alright, and that looks just a little bit more. If I can turn it the right way. Alright. If you did it correctly, this should be flush. However, I keep having little problems, as pretty much all of you would. Gotta make sure it's on perfectly, or else it would, if I try not to drop things. Alright, now the spring right here, as you can tell, this is an old rusted spring. Now, this comes out, just simply, you can either twist off like that, or if you bend it to the side like that, it'll pop off. Now, I'll be back 1 second to clean this up, then I'll be back shortly. Alright, so, kind of cleaned it off a bit, trying to get as much off, but I couldn't really get that off. Here's the old spring, as you can tell it's all rusted. Here's the new spring. I can feel a lot more tension on the new one than I do with the old one, so hopefully that is the problem. How to put this on, you just simply try and simply put it on. However, this thing's old as hell, so hopefully it'll just go on without a hitch. Just kind of like snaps on. We can try to screw it in. Alright, I got the new spring on. I had a bit of a trouble. I had a bit of a hassle getting this on. I believe it is because of the old spring. The old spring has a slightly smaller internal diameter than the new spring. If you look differently, if you can look close enough, the new spring has a bit more more of a gauge diameter wire on there than the new spring. This one probably feels around like 22, 24. This one feels like a 20, maybe 22, if that. I don't know, I'm roughly guessing. But it does feel, I do feel less tension with this one than I do with this one. This one has a lot more tension, as you can see, versus this one. I have a lot more tension with this one than this one. So hopefully that is the problem. As I went back before, this is the diaphragm right in there. Alright, now I'm going to be putting this back on. But before I do, I always like to make sure that I have the diaphragm all nice and flush. And it feels pretty flush, but I just want to... Oh, turn it the other way. Alright, there we go. Now let's just give it... Just always want to try to make sure that the nozzle is flush with that. And if it isn't, I'll just simply try and turn the whole horn. And hopefully I'll make sure that it's working at optimum performance. So let's get that away. Let's put the new spring on with the new gasket and the new diaphragm. Alright, so we're going to do that little effect with the speeding stuff. Here we go. Alright, there we go. We got the new spring, new diaphragm, and a new gasket in there. Here is the old diaphragm. Just trying to find parts of the gasket because that was old and it was like beyond old. Here's part of it right here. The gasket kind of fell apart as I was trying to take it apart or take it out. Alright, so now hopefully it'll work. Here's the old spring. Alright, so this is the first time I'm testing it with a new gasket, new spring, and a new diaphragm in there. I got about roughly like 80, 90 pounds of pressure. Alright, just bring it up. Alright, let's see how it sounds. Ho 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 ho. Now it has a much louder kick to it. And that is how you... You know what? Let's try it without hearing protection because I want to hear how loud it is. Wow, that is pretty loud. Versus the truck horn. And I do not have hearing protection with this. I just want to hear how loud it is. Alright, now I hear a big difference with... Oh, can't even see anything. Alright, so now I hear a big difference before with the old diaphragm and versus this. Before I replaced it, this was louder than this one. But since I replaced everything, this is way louder than this one. This is a emergency horn. This is a plain old truck horn, like a Mack truck or something. So that is how you make an air horn or fix a squealing fire truck horn. And that is how you pretty much repair this horn. Now, if you have any questions on where you got the parts, or if you have any problems with your air horns or something, I can help you out because I'm kind of like a horn. I know everything about horns. So that is pretty much how you replace the diaphragm, the gasket, and the spring. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.